and I critique me, and I look for what you guys say about me so that I can change. But I recognize that if it's wholly about me, and I'm not giving you anything, well, that's not going to be mutually advantageous, right? As I did in a lecture series, in a totally different lecture series a few days ago, ending up my lecture series on ethics and qualitative research, the technical word is known as mutual attentiveness. This is the seminal seed that egoism starts at this point. Egoism starts today. Today is the day when you start thinking about you. When you start thinking about your needs. Hey, Bob has that new Mercedes S-Class. Holy crap. Am I going to hate Bob because he has that? No. Why should I? Am I going to be envious because Bob has that? No. Why should I? I have to ask myself, do I want what Bob has? If I say yes, well, I need to work in order to attain it. If I say no, no one in the world can put it in my mind that I should have what Bob wants, because I'm aware of myself, because I'm continually engaged in the process of self-reflection. So that this continuous process with the collapse of perfection will and can only result in egoism. Me, 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 me. It's about me. It's about you. And that's not a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing. And it's nothing that I have to justify. And it's nothing I have to feel a sense that, oh my goodness, you know, I don't know if people, you know now that I don't really care because I have nothing to prove to anybody, right? This is about you recognizing that your existence through the world, and I'll talk about this later, rather than in the world, your existence through the world is contingent on your level of negotiating engagements and detachments. How much am I actually going to engage Dr. Campbell in his madness on this lecture series? He might actually take this past 100 hours. Am I going to follow him that far? I'm going to follow him as deep as he goes. I could spend 4 hours talking about 3 notes. We got 1,070 something notes to go to complete this lecture series. If you're following me, you have to recognize that though I might have 3 pages of notes or a page of notes or a half a page of notes that covers, of my own notes, that covers 1 or 2 or 3 pages of Nietzsche in Nietzsche's text, I can really break those concepts down for about 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. The question is how much time, with respect to this lecture series, with respect to Nietzsche, because I want to personalize this for each of you, how much time are you willing to spend? Because you don't know how much time I'm willing to spend. I've never disclosed that. I told at the beginning I'd like to do 50 hours, and we're very, very rapidly approaching 50 hours. But it could become a bit of a game, couldn't it? It might be, let me really see how much I can pull from this. And what you end up realizing is that my desire, since I recognize and fully understand that there isn't a state of perfection, my desire that I've posited at the bottom, in the abyss, that I haven't disclosed to anyone, might make you go a lot further than you actually thought you would. Right? And that's all that there is. And that's as good as it gets. It's the corniest thing in the world. It's the most cliche thing. Every single athlete in the world has heard a good coach tell them this. All I want from you is for you to do your best. I might not be able to break the world record. There might not have my name on the walls in the history annals forever, but I'm going to push myself to my limit, and I'm going to make that determination. I'll decide when all of this YouTube madness stops. I'll decide how far I want this to go. But the interesting thing about this is that it's an engagement. It's you and me. And I need fuel from you in order to continue sometimes, because every day isn't a day like today where I'm manic and I'm loving what I'm doing and I'm totally immersed in the discussion. Some days I don't want to do this. But then I get feedback from you that helps me forward. And then I realize that, holy crap, well, maybe you do want to go to the abyss, right? So the idea is we have to recognize that positing perfection as this all-encompassing, this grand narrative is going to lead to the greatest collapse of them all. And in response to that, we, at this point, because in a little bit Nietzsche's going to talk, maybe even in this section, in the next few sections, he'll talk in the next few hours coming, he'll talk about egoism. And the question is, how did we get to that point? All of a sudden he's talking about egoism. How did we get there? We got here through this, a recognition that it has to be about you. It has to be about me. And it is the collaboration between egoists that actually work, right? And we'll talk about how that manifests on various levels. Number 3, Nietzsche wishes to destroy the notion of the all, as I just told you. The unity of all, quote, one must shatter the all. Unlearn respect for the all. I love that word, respect. Unlearn respect, reverence. Sort of this reverential relationship that we have with the notion of perfection. Even in our sciences, this is the perfect algorithm. We're looking for the unified theory that explains everything that there is to know about anything. Even in our science, it's been infected, right? And of course, scientists are in right form to say, Dr. Campbell, what the hell do you know about anything? You're a philosopher. You know, tell me whether God exists or not, or if there is love or if there isn't. What do you know about the all? I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a messenger. The idea is we have to unlearn the respect for that thing. It's not about us attempting to deny greatness, betterment, self-improvement, transformation. It's not about that. That's good. But the idea that we could get to such a level that it is now absolutely crystal perfection as embodied in this world, come on, man, come on. I mean, seriously, come on. Unlearn respect for the all. This is number 3, top of page 58. The all would always bring the old problem with it, and this is the, for me, there are many points in here that might be more important for you, but for me, this is the most important part of everything that I've done in my life academically. The rest in this note. How is evil possible? And this is where my dissertation begins, right? And this is where my research begins, and this is why I'm in conflict resolution and why I'll be doing what I do for the rest of my life. It begins with this point, right? And sort of a more primal concept is the idea of egoism, as I said earlier. But the idea is I don't have respect for perfection. I don't aspire for perfection. I aspire to be the best that I can be. And for other people who don't understand how it is that I work, for other people who don't understand what it is that you do or how it is that you work, from the outside, they might use you to become their concept, their living embodied concept of perfection. But I'm no freaking guru. I'm no freaking role model. I'm not running for the presidency. I don't need followers, right? I am totally fucked up. I'm flawed. I'm full of contradictions. But I happen to do this thing really, really, really well. Don't use what I do. Don't look at people who have risen to a level and say, that's what perfection looks like, because it's not. I'm not going to sell you that lie. This is complete madness. To get in front of this camera, the mental state that you have to be in, without any drugs, without anything, I'm not on anything. I'm on freaking Nietzsche. Like crack. You guys see me eat the book. I take this shit to another level. Right? Do you have to recognize that there is no perfection in this? right? You might want to aspire